The show is made possible in part by its supporting sponsors. Blue Water Power Group of Companies, Joe's Discount Tire, and AskGuy.ca. I get to go to some cool places when I'm doing this show, and I'll have to take some B-roll and show this off around in this cool room, this space. And this next gentleman that we were just talking, like it has been 30 years, right?
Over 30 years.
Well, Andy Hardman, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you,
Thanks
Dave.
for having me in your home.
Oh, anytime.
And I can look around and, geez, there's Scott Maneri up there, and there's Doug Stewart, CDD, and a whole bunch around here. And we're going to get to all of that. We've only got an hour.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
Are you from Sarnia originally, or?
From Montreal.
Montreal, wow.
So I grew up in Montreal till I was 10.
Yeah.
And funny thing, my dad grew up in Verdun.
Okay.
And my dad was best friends with Scotty Bowman.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And my mother, before she went out with my dad, which is kind of neat. Do you remember the original Batman series?
Yeah.
My mother went out with the Riddler, Frank Gorshin.
No way.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's really funny. I could have been a little question mark.
Right?
I could have. It's kind of interesting, but little claim to fame.
Some would say you are a question mark, Andy.
Yes, a lot say that, Yeah.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, Montreal was, and then coming from Montreal to this is like a little cottage town.
Yeah.
When Dad said we were going to move here in '76. And
how old were you then?
I bet you I was 10.
Oh, wow, okay. How did you feel that as a 10-year-old going, we're moving
the whole family
to another...
Yeah, where we don't know anybody. Well, we couldn't speak French. And funny, Quebec was Quebec, but Montreal was English, I thought. I never really heard too many people speaking French in Montreal back then. And then everything was kind of changing. And then you either had to conform, and my brother, my sister, my dad, my mom, and most of my family, we never spoke French.
Yeah.
So we had to decide what to do. So Dad was going to take us to Saudi Arabia first.
Oh, wow.
And live there for a year.
Why there?
Because that in '76 they were getting all, everybody, my dad worked for a BP refinery. So we were going to move there just to make money for a year. It was, and then come here after a year. But we would have had to live in a kind of a complex kind of thing. And my mom and my sister were not allowed out, and they had to do the whole dress
rules,
up.
Right?
Yeah, the rules were huge. So Dad thought, no, we're just going to do the Sarnia
Why
thing.
how did he decide on Sarnia? Because even London back then was small.
Well, Petrosar, Dad worked for BP refinery, so
right.
They were looking all over because Petrosar was building, Union Carbide, everywhere was building. So it was a huge opportunity, and they paid for us to come here. They paid for a year's rent. They gave you food for a year. So it was amazing.
So they made it hard to say.
They made it hard to say.
You couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
What was Dad like?
My dad was really cool. He was a cool guy. We used to go camping for 3 weeks to a month. Dad was almost in the Olympics for rowing.
Really?
Yeah, he was very, very close to me, and him and his friend. Montreal is just a really cool place when you're growing up, and if that's all you know.
Yeah, right.
That's all I know. Dad would say, hey, I got to go get my check. You want to go for a drive? And it'd be an hour to get to the plant on the other side of the city and an hour back.
Right.
So, it was, and there's a ton of memories I have.
So you're close with your dad. You were.
I was close with my dad and my mom. My mom was super. I mean, she drumming or anything. Mom was very, very, good at pushing us to do stuff.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, I had the facial thing, so there was a whole. My life's a little different than my brother or my sister.
Yeah.
So I had the.
So you got picked on.
Yeah, I got picked on a lot. So I think it was 5. I think when I was 4 or 5, they noticed one side wasn't growing, and one bone on the side. Everybody always wonders what happened. Did I get in an accident? So my mom took me around to all these different doctors, and then finally Dr. Enton, which was an amazing doctor, and he took me on. And back then when you go in the hospital, like you're in for 3 months.
Right, yeah.
I can remember being in the oxygen tent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mom would stay in the room. Like, that's how great my mom was. She knew I was terrified.
Sure.
She stayed in the room with me. Yeah, and then it was normal for a little bit until I was growing, and then it kept going over, and I was supposed to go back. Always going back for the last one.
Like, was there surgery, or was there?
Yeah, big surgery and a couple of surgeries, and just to, yeah. And it's funny how I am now compared to back then. I never wanted to go out. I never wanted to go to the mall. I didn't want anybody to see me. I only had like usually one friend. I didn't have a lot of friends in school. I used to, well, funny, my sister, I used to run away from school whenever they pick on me, and I'd run to the high school, and then I'd ask for my sister. My sister was like my security blanket.
Yeah, she helped you out?
Oh, she's been there since day one for me.
Yeah. And I don't know you any other way. Like, for me, it was, it was just a part of who you are, right? Which it is now. Right? Was there a name for it, or?
It's extremely rare. Bone something. I don't even know what it's called, but it's funny. Once I got into my teens and we came here, and kept thinking, my mom kept saying, you got to go back for one more.
Okay.
And I said, yeah. Then I got a girlfriend, and I've got friends, and I'm things are happening here. So there wasn't. I mean, when can you ever take 3 months?
Right.
You go back for 3 months into a hospital, and you think, oh, not now, not now. So we went back. Very interesting story. We went back one time. I think I was 17, 18. And Mom said, let's go back and let's just see. So we went back, and this time we had to go up to the hospital to see Dr. Enton, which was really interesting because normally we'd go to his office. So we go up to the hospital on the hill. I forget what it's called, not Mount Royal. It's been a long time since I've been there. But so we go up there, and then we go up to the 5th floor. Me and my mother are walking along, and all of a sudden there's a girl, and looks like her mother. And she's about 15, 16, and she looks like me. Wow. What the heck? I've never seen anybody that had this bone thing going on. So it was kind of interesting. And then when the doctor came out to get her, and it wasn't Dr. Enton, and then she went in, and half an hour later she comes out, and she's bawling, crying. I'm like, what the heck is going to looking at my mom?
I'm not going in there.
What the heck? I'm not going in there. I'm terrified.
Right.
So then they asked for me, and they said to my mom, no, you can stay here. And I go in, and this is the first time I've ever been on stage. So I walk out, and there's a bright light at the end of the hallway, and I walk through, and it's an auditorium. And like a doctor's auditorium where it's all rounded?
Yeah.
So there's got to be a couple hundred doctors.
Oh, wow.
And you look up, and you just...
You're on display.
Yeah, and there's a stool in the middle, and I go over and sit on the stool, and then they bring out this big easel on wheels, and it had pictures of me when I was 5 and 6, and operation pictures.
So you were a study.
Yeah, it was pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
For me.
Hello, how about a heads up?
Nothing. Didn't know. Maybe Mom knew. I don't think she knew.
Yeah.
Because I came out thinking, I was so terrified, and at the end they all came down to examine me, and I wasn't Andy, I was patient.
Yeah.
I was subject. Subject as a male, 17. So going through all that, it's interesting to know, because look at what I do now.
Yeah.
Which is pretty incredible.
Pretty public.
I've been on stage
so many times. Yeah, I've been on stage with you. I've been happy to share this.
Yeah, oh my God, 2,000 and 3,000 people at Canada Day.
Right.
Imagine, my brother even said, my brother, he's like my dad, quite a good-looking man.
Yeah.
And I'd love to look like my brother or my dad. And they always say, geez, how can you get up there and play it all up? I don't know. But I think it started in high school. Once I got in high school and I was picked on a bit, then I met my first friend, Gary, and Gary Gardner, just super nice guy. We had so much fun together. And then the picking kind of stopped, and then I got into music.
Yeah.
And that's where it really blossomed. Then all of a sudden I joined drum corps, you know what I mean? And
oh yeah, right.
And then it just
so it was kind of an escape for you from everything else.
Yeah. And funny, in drum corps, never once did anybody ever call me a name or laugh at me. It was amazing.
Look at you sideways a little, or
nothing.
Yeah.
Like, not as far as I could see, it was an amazing place, and I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Where normally I didn't ever want to go to school, and I
guess,
didn't want.
Well, it depends on the environment, I guess. You know, like, I mean, I've never known you any other way. I just, I never really thought much of it. I just thought, that's Andy, right? You know?
Yeah. Well, I've had a beard since I was 13 or 14.
Was that to try to cover it up?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Try to cover it up.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to do forever.
I had epilepsy when I was younger, right? So I outgrew it. So, you know, and that was back in the 70s as well, right?
Yes.
You know, where, you know, I'm falling down on the playground shaking, and they didn't know what it was. It was kind of like Tourette's.
Oh, Jesus.
They were like, what's that, right?
Wow.
So I can relate to it.
But it's
and
funny
kids can be cruel.
Oh.
Right?
Oh. I'm telling you, back then, if it wasn't for my sister, God, run into that school, and
did she crack some skulls?
Oh, no, but she was always, she always cared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm extremely lucky I have an older brother and sister. I know lots of people that don't, but I mean, my brother and sister still are here for me today.
I have an older sister, and I always say next to my wife Jennifer, she's my best friend. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, my brother.
I remind her that she's the older sister too.
Well, it's funny. My brother's like my best friend. My best friend.
Cool.
I can't say
enough. Are they in Sarnia?
There's luckily enough, knock on wood.
I don't know if I've ever met them.
I don't know if you have or not.
Yeah,
I know they've been at most of the concerts.
Probably.
They know of you because when
right.
I mentioned that you were going to come and interview me, they both, we
That's
know
cool.
Dave, and
You were taken aback, weren't you? Because when I interviewed Stu Brandon there, I told him, he said he was leaving to come here to practice.
Yeah.
And I said, you tell Hardman he's next on my list. He said, okay, I'll prepare him. And thanks for sharing that, because I know that's a really personal side to you, right? And that's
but if you can,
it's effective on you.
It's like if you can live through it and survive and keep going. Mom kept sending me to school, which was the correct thing to do. I kept calling in sick or saying I can't go, I don't want to go, but then kept going.
You got to go.
And I think that was the best. And then once I got to high school, then it got a little better.
Yeah.
And then, met my girlfriend in grade, I was in grade 9, she was grade 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she's like my rock. I mean, I can't say enough about her.
That's Karen you're talking about?
Karen.
You guys met in high school?
Yeah. We went
out together
for,
ever since?
Yeah, went out for 11 years.
Wow.
Then we've been married for 30, so 33 years.
You better get that right.
34 years. Yeah, I'm not great with, my memory's not the greatest, but yeah, we went out for 11 years.
Well, that's true love.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, she's like my best friend, and we do everything together, ride bikes, do this, go, we started going on vacations once the kids grew up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was.
How did you? That's great. Isn't it great when we can say that about?
I count my lucky stars. I'll tell you every day that I look around and I'm where I'm at.
Yeah.
And still have my mom. My dad passed, but my brother and my sister are still in my life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I love it. I talk to my brother every week.
Right.
He'll call me, or I'll call him. He worked in the plants, and he was like a star football player in Montreal.
Oh.
So, yeah, he was a running back. So me and my father would go. He was playing on 2 teams. He was in the Sarnia. He's in the Montreal paper all the time. Most yardage Hardman got. Then he was drafted by the Montreal Alouettes.
Wow.
So,
were you ever jealous?
God, no. He was my big brother.
Right,
Are you kidding? I was proud. Hey, that's my big brother,
right on, okay.
Oh, Christ.
Because, that happens sometimes, like, the big brother's getting all the attention or whatever.
Oh, no.
What about your sister?
Oh, my sister's. She was a very pretty girl growing up, and I remember my dad always being nervous of boys coming around, and I can remember her going to parties or that, and Dad saying, "Come on, I'm going out for some cigarettes, Maud, and I'm taking Andy with me." And we get in the car and we go to check out just to make sure, that she's okay. And because Montreal back then was a tough place.
Dads do that too.
My dad was very protective. He was very protective.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And what did he do?
He worked at BP Refinery.
Oh, yeah, right. You did tell me that. Yeah.
And then my brother.
But so he was like a process operator?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my brother worked in the shipyards. When he just got out of high school, he was going to do the football thing, wasn't sure. And then it happened, all the plants were hiring down here. And he kind of came down. Back then, you'd make more here than in the CFL.
Right.
So, Union Carbide picked him up, and then he came down here.
Well, my dad worked at Union Carbide.
Did he
He
really?
was a process operator, actually.
Oh, he probably knew my brother.
Probably.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What got you drumming? Before you answer that, it's usually I want to be a guitar player, singer.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be the bass player.
Oh, God. Wow. Sorry, Jeff.
Right. I had to put that bass player thing in there.
Yeah. Well,
and the drummer, right? Because I know I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, let alone. And you, Andy, you've always. I've just seen you do some really extreme. Is there a thing called extreme drumming?
Well, there's love of drum. I mean, anything you love doing, I think you accelerate, right? Yeah. So, I mean, when my buddy Andy Cowan was the first guy I saw drumming, went to his house and he showed me all the drums and he was drumming, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. And then he said he had belonged to the Buccaneers and then quit a few years before. Right. And then me and Gary, one Canada Day, we went down and saw them, and we went, I'm not wearing that. Are you? Look at these guys. Oh, my God.
No way.
And then it was the fall, and then it was rainy, cold, and we were sitting in my front room, and I said, that'd be kind of cool to do. So we called up the Core Hall, and Norm Campbell answered it, and I said, I think we're interested in drumming, me and my friend. Come on down. He was so nice on the phone. Yeah. Oh, my God. Come on down. And so we went down, and I'm telling you, when we rode down on our bikes, and I held on to the door, and I looked at Gary, and he looked at me, and I go, holy Jesus. And that opened up that door, changed my whole life.
Nice.
It really did. Yeah. But it's funny how with Gary, it kind of went, you could see the passions. Like, I went in, Gary went in, they gave us drumsticks, they put us on the big long boards, So after a couple of months, they had these tryouts. Normally you start on cymbals. I came home and practiced and practiced. My mom let me practice and practice. I bought a drum set from Chris Tompkins.
Oh, really?
From the 88.
Wow, yeah.
Yep, that's when I first met Chris.
Cool, CT. Yeah. He's getting mentioned every week here.
Well, I mean, come on. He's been drumming for a long. He's in the top band in Sarnia. The guy's he is a really good drummer and really well-known figure in Sarnia. And I'm quite proud to say that, I bought my first drum set from Chris.
Yeah, right.
Didn't know him that well at the time. Yeah. And, but it's funny. So me and Gary go in, we drum for a couple of months. I make it on bass drum, which is huge, and Gary stayed on cymbals. And then the next year I wanted to play the quads or the tries, right? So I worked my butt off. In 1 year of playing, I worked my butt off to practice. Gary never practiced, and we joke about that quite often. So then the next year, I made it on quads, and Gary made it on, he was the flag guy at the front of the parade. Right. He just didn't want to, he just couldn't care less. He just wanted to be involved with something. Sure. He didn't want to practice. He didn't want to, and he just loved it. He thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
It's the loudest instrument you could pick. Like, you go electric guitar, right? You go, but it's the loudest thing. So, parents must have had to, everybody around you, your wife, Karen, everybody had to be patient with
everybody,
that.
My mom, that's where it started. Yeah. And it started with her allowing me to come home and play for hours until Dad come home. And then, he'd work 12 hours. I understood. Or if he was working nights, I couldn't play until he left. I can understand that. And, but they were very, very good. That's why I'm where I'm at today. Yeah. And then drumming. And then all of a sudden when, the rock band started coming in, and I met another guy, Rob Verbeem, and he was into the same kind of progressive stuff I was into. Next thing you know, it's like Neil getting into Rush. It just exploded. I mean, playing the basic stuff wasn't as much fun.
I get
thrill,
it. Yeah.
It's
like playing a game and winning all the time.
Yeah, it's trying to play that riff and then practicing and practicing and practicing to get it down.
You never get tired of it, do you?
Never get tired of it. Still, I'm 60.
And your arms, drummers got to be in shape.
Yeah.
Because that's a workout in itself.
It's a workout.
Do you still, or did you work the arms and the legs?
Well, my brother got me into the gym. I was 23. I think we and Karen had just moved in together, and I noticed I was getting a little bit of a paunch on.
Yeah, right.
And I said to he said, come on out to the gym in Ironworks when it was out on the Golden
Oh,
Mile.
yeah, right. Wow. Yeah.
So I started there with Norman doing that. And plus I was a diver too. I dove a lot in Tobermory with other friends. And then I got into the bodybuilding, and then the bands kind of went away at that time before Third Wave and before all of that. And then that kind of went to the side, and then the bodybuilding started. Next thing you know, I wanted to kind of be with my brother, and so we started bodybuilding, and I've done one competition. So I think I came in 12th out of 15. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I did it. That's good.
Yeah, but I could still continue. But I still continue working out all the time. Instead of coming home and just watching TV, I'll go work out. Then come home, have something to eat, watch a bit of TV, maybe come down and do some drumming.
So you mentioned Rush in there. Of course, I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, Neil, like...
Yeah, he was my god.
Even someone who, like I don't really play. I dangled the ivories a little bit.
Yeah.
But and I played the recorder. That was my instrument.
That's all right.
But even anybody could just appreciate him as a drummer, as a performer.
Yeah.
Because a drummer is that too, right? A drummer is not just and in my opinion, like the lead singer usually gets all the.
Yes.
The drummer leads the way. Am I correct?
Well, I'd like to think that.
Well, no, you set the pace.
But I
and
do
the
set the tone. I set the pace. I set the
and you
the
do
timing.
The count, and here we go. And I mean, I know it all works together, but and then the drummer really is a performer as well. I mean, I've seen videos. Who was I watching the other day? And Motley Crue. You know, and they were doing this thing, and he was upside down, and then it got stuck, and I'm just like,
yeah, I know that's quite
that's over
amazing.
the top. Would you haven't done anything like?
No, I haven't done anything like that. No. I think we're planning something in the Christmas show next year. It's going to be pretty interesting for the drums. So, because everybody keeps asking me to do my own drum solo. Yeah. And I keep thinking, why do you just want to watch me? I've incorporated the light show, other drummers, you know what I mean, and tried to incorporate a whole bunch of things into the solos. And then I go, after the show, geez, I really like it when you do the solo. So maybe there's something in it where...
Well, it's because it's you, quite honestly. I'll say it to you.
I don't see that.
Well, but it's like certain guitar players. I'd like to see him do a guitar solo. I don't care about...
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I get where you're coming from. You don't give yourself any credit. You just say, well, I know I'm good at what I do, but I don't expect that I think of...
I don't think I'm better than any... It's funny, because there's other drummers around.
Yeah.
They're all different. And if you know drumming... and you go watch them. I mean, Tony Zangoli. Tony, now, he's a really good drummer. Like, he really is.
Yeah.
He doesn't give himself enough credit
for
what he knows how to do on the drums.
Yeah.
And his timing is impeccable.
Yeah.
His work on it is. He keeps saying,
no,
I'm not. Just because I was in drum corps and I could play some rudiments and stuff, and I incorporated on the set. But then there's guys like, I think I don't even know him, Tim Tannehill. I saw him a couple of times, and I was just blown away. I thought he was a really good drummer.
Yeah.
Chris Tompkins, remember back in the day going and watching him, and just standing there being mesmerized, and just watching, going, my God, one day I'm going to be up there.
Yeah. What kept you going with it? Like, what made you say, there was those two words, don't quit, or like...
Yeah, it came around that I had to help a friend out, and Rob had some hard times and mentally wise, and he wasn't in a good place, and that's when I just bought the house. We just had the second child, and I was helping out a friend. I said, "Come on, I'll buy another set. Why don't we get the band back together? Let's get playing. I'd like to start playing." So it kind of started as to help a friend out,
right?
And then it morphed into. I put an ad up at Pickers Alley. Next thing you know, Third Wave was born.
Right. And
off we go for 25 years.
I know, Third Wave, wow.
Holy Jesus. It was just a monster. We built it into a monster. It just, we saw other guys around, like Sean Robbins, Whiskey River. Oh, my God.
Yep.
They had a big truck, scaffolding, Manfrados.
All for no money.
All for no money. And you still get paid the same.
Right.
For the love. Yeah, but it's funny. I really liked what Sean did with that. that whole marketing
Sean's
thing.
he's great at marketing and
yeah,
always was.
One of my best.
He told me one time, he said, you know what, we're not the best band and I'm not the best singer out there, but we're booked every weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll never forget him saying that to me.
Yep. Oh, exactly.
Marketing and the audience engagement and was there too.
No, he's really ahead of himself when it comes. He really knows, and he's so enthusiastic. Holy
all
geez!
The time, right? Yeah.
Sometimes you almost have to pull the reins back.
And you guys are good friends. Like you travel together.
Awesome friends. We've traveled together. He's like me. We can't sit very long. If the girls will lay there in the sun for a couple hours. We're sitting there, people watching. Let's go sailing. Well, let's go down the beach, and off we go. Yeah. So he's one of my best friends. He's definitely. I enjoy his company, and Gina the same thing.
Yeah.
Gina and Sean are just best friends.
The whole family really is.
Oh, the whole family's amazing. All his daughters and everything. Oh yeah, just amazing.
The third wave journey. I mean, boy, we could do a documentary there. We would be remiss if we didn't mention our friend Sean Smitty.
Yeah.
Right? And I know we were. You were. What I found interesting about him was, like I know I had a very personal relationship with him, as did you, but they were different.
Yeah.
He was in multiple circles.
Yeah.
Between bowling and ball and music
and kids.
I
mean, he was the same as me, doing all the travel stuff with all the kids.
And then the band, you know, like, and how he, and then had a business and how he balanced it all together. But it was always, he was very personal with everybody.
He was a nice guy.
He just was.
He was. There's nothing else you could say about Sean.
Yeah, he was just
a nice guy. Always smiling.
Even if he didn't like it, he probably wouldn't tell you.
He wouldn't tell you. He's the same as Stewie. I've been blessed in my life to have really, really good friends. Yeah. Like blessed.
That won't tell me they don't like me.
Yeah, exactly. And Sean is one of those guys. And Sean, he's missed every time I play. I think of Sean quite often.
Yeah, I do too.
When everything happened, Tammy gave me one of his guitars to put up here, and I really enjoy having the guitar down here. It feels like he's still down here. 100%.
You're a sentimental guy, aren't you, Andy?
Oh, big time.
Yeah, me too.
Big time. Yeah.
Cool. And I know, like I say, there was a lot of lessons there, a lot of learning curves, and very intense in third wave. I think I was at a lot of those practices in the early days, and watching and coming to the shows, and there was just never. I mean, I'm sure there was, but there was never a mistake happening on stage. At least the illusion was created that it wasn't.
I totally agree with you.
It was like,
but it was a hard-working band. It was a good thing to.
And you guys went all over.
We went all over when I can't even think of the bass player, Brad. When Brad, Sean, and Glenn first came down, we answered an ad, me and Rob, and when they first came down, that was the first third wave, and we started playing, and then people left, and Sean had to leave for a little while because he just had started his business.
Yeah.
And he was so busy. Poor guy, barely could practice, barely had time to do anything.
And he would have felt bad for.
Oh, and he did feel bad.
Yeah.
So then when he left, when he came back, he was in a much better place. The business was in a good place. The kids were older, and then we had some fun. Oh boy, we had some fun. Yeah. And God, we opened up for Honeymoon Suite, Nazareth, Rick Emmett, Tom Cochran. Oh my God, just
quite
amazing.
A resume there.
Quite a resume, and you see a lot of things backstage.
Oh yes.
You would know that. There's a lot of things backstage, and I'd like to
write a book on that.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And I still, whenever I hear Pink Houses, doesn't matter where I am on the planet, I hear Pink Houses, and I just kind of I slow down a little bit.
Yeah, and I videotaped everything. I had a little Super 8 camera, and I used to haul to every gig that we had. I got every Alvinston arena that we did. Any new bars, I'd bring it out backstage in the trucks, traveling on the road.
Oh yeah, we're going to see a blackmail documentary come out in the future.
But I sent Tammy some video there at Christmas time of Sean in the when we went in the studio. I took some video of that, and just interesting to hear his voice again.
Yeah,
that kind of set me back. So
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, you've got lots of guitars around here for sure, and then the drums, like Have you had this set of drums for a long time? Or
I've had these, well, I've had half that set for about 23 years. Mm-hmm. And I saw them online, and they were very expensive, and they were just the drums.
Yeah.
And I had to go and ask Tony, what is this recording customs Yamaha? And he said, oh, they only made them for a few years, and they're cherry wood. And there's no other drums made like these drums.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it back 23 years ago. Now I want to do a bigger set for this Christmas show. I want to do something like a Todd Zuckerman from Styx. I want to do the double bass. I want to have it like the nice big kits like back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so I started searching for the exact drums. Well, that's 2 years. I mean, and the drums are, everybody wants them now. So everybody's commanding a huge price, like $1,200 for a bass drum. You know, some guy wants $1,000 for a floor tom.
Holy.
And it's taken me a few years, and I just found a guy in Oakville that had another set like mine that I bought.
What was his name? Louis A. Cardenas. Do you know him?
Why that name sounds familiar.
He did a thing back in late '89, early '90s. Donny Osmond was actually a cameo appearance in it, and he did a remake of Runaway, My Little Runaway. And he had
I do remember that. Yes, huge drum set.
Huge drum set in the video, and there were these animated dinosaurs.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes, I do remember that.
You need one of those. I could see.
Yeah, no, that's a little too
thing
big.
Would fill your whole house.
Yeah.
Have you ever played anything like that, though? Have you ever traveled
back
somewhere?
In the day, I used to have kind of a big set, but just all kind of awkward. This is going to be really professional, and if you know Styx at all, and Todd Zuckerman, I really like, and I like how the toms are low, so you can actually see me play. I had somebody watch me for years play, and my set was, the toms were a little high, and you really couldn't see me, and then I played the Duke d'Orleans, and this person says, and they'd seen me for years, my God, I didn't know how good you are. I couldn't stop watching you, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You've seen me play. You just saw me play last weekend, and the weekend but I couldn't see you, and I'm...
See, nowadays, we just need cameras on you on the big
that
screen.
would be nice. Tell Dave that. Dave, we need a budget for cameras. So yeah, that would be nice, but no. So I'm trying to do where it's a big set, but it's nice and low, and you can still see me play, because it is a visual thing. I mean, that's why it's like Stewie or Dave on stage. They're classic guitar players. They're moving. They create motion on stage. And when the audience, I mean, just have people stand there and don't move. Yeah, it's not as much, I don't think it's as pleasurable to watch as when there's motion on stage. And with the theater thing, I'm blown away. Like I
know, right? It's pretty incredible.
I'm just with the big screen.
What we have here at Imperial Theater.
I mean, Ian from the theater is amazing. The guy does all the videos and all the guy is a creative monster. Yeah. He's amazing. The guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Oh, Jesus. The things he's done over the years is just blown us away. Yeah. Whenever he sends us a copy before the show.
Look at you! You're like excited for this, and it's
huge!
It's almost a year away, and you guys are already starting.
Yeah, we've already started.
You have to, right?
Yeah. For something like this, it's not. Other musicians have come into this little realm that Dave has created, and it's really interesting. You can't go home and practice it because we're chopping everything up and adding things in and subtracting and putting Caitlin in on violin. Yeah, then all of a sudden we're putting Denise on some tubular bells, or so we're adding all this stuff. So we're adding things to the song, and you can only practice it here.
I've always been amazed. I've said it before on the show, but as a karaoke guy, like I never put myself in the same realm as musicians. You know, I had the perfect band at that time. It was called a CD or a Laserdisc. Played the same way every time. So it was easy to catch on to, right? And I mean, my instrument's my voice, but I've always just, for even 3 people, never mind 10 people, to go up on a stage and piece it all, like it's a puzzle, and piece it all together and go, oh, does that ever sound good?
Yeah. And unfortunately, you always have to have one guy that says yes or no.
Right.
And that's Dave.
Yeah.
Dave, he carries a lot on his shoulders. Who's in, who's, you know what I mean? It really is hard every year to kind of keep it evolving.
He's pretty straight, though, I think.
nicest guy I know.
He's another
tries,
one, right? Just nice. But he'll still say, we need to work on this.
Yeah, and he'll even, I'll say some crazy stuff, and no, I don't think we'll be doing that. And, hey, why don't we do this? And we fly Stewie out on a thing. No, we can't do that, Don't have the insurance for that.
Well, no, they had Mary Poppins there.
Well, that's Dave, let's fly Stewie.
Right?
Yeah.
Do it. I still think they need to put you on a rotating something or other. And
well, Stewie came up with a really interesting concept this year for the drum solo. We're going to try.
All right.
Try and do. So it's
nice.
going to be pretty interesting.
I haven't been, well, obviously the pandemic and stuff, but even before I wasn't able to make it. And I was saying to Jennifer the other day, because Sarah Woodley and I, first 2 years, were in there.
Oh.
And then they cut us out. No, I get why, though. No, it's showbiz. I get it. But I miss the just being off the side of the stage and just watching you guys go.
Yeah, I could totally understand.
Like, wow, I'm watching. It's that cliche. I'm watching history here. Like this type of thing hasn't been done. And on that, like the Imperial Theater's done some great things, but this thing is so unique to itself. It's rock and roll Christmas show.
But it's morphed into
just the concept, right?
And it comes with a concept, and then all of a sudden, when you say, okay, unfortunately, we like the talking, and we like. Well, how do we put more in? Well, what's got to go?
Yeah.
Well, we can't. Okay, let's try less talking.
Yeah.
And now less talk. Okay, now what are we going to do nowadays? Okay, now now we're still talking too much, even on year 3 and 4. So Dave has evolved it to say, and more skits he's brought in. He's brought in more actors to kind of do skits. It really is interesting down here. When we had the horn line, my God, my basement's not that big. I had 12 or 15 people down here. Poor Scotty Maneri's stuck in the corner with his guitar up in the air trying to play like this. And Stewie needs a runway. So we always, whenever Stewie practices, that's right in front of my drum. Nobody could stand there because Stewie has to be able to.
Yeah, he's got to move that guy.
He's got to do his runway thing, So.
Yeah. And you think, like we're talking the music and the production and all of that, but Andy, you got to think about all the people that you've met over the... How old are you now?
60.
60? Okay. I'm 54, so that helps.
Oh, you're lucky.
But
I wish I could still say
you think of all the people you've met over that 60 years being on this planet, like, do you feel blessed to grateful, all that stuff,
Yes, extremely grateful.
Yeah.
The greatest wife in the world.
Yeah,
my God, that... I can't. Our relationship's amazing. My 2 kids are amazing. They gave me 7 grandchildren.
Wow.
I have 7. So my house isn't that big. So when we have them all over, it's amazing. I love it. I
you like the energy?
And then when they go home, I love it. It's great. And it's quiet. It's just me and her.
Yeah.
And we enjoy everything. Bike riding, doing all kinds of stuff.
You got a Corvette, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we've had that for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't know that until this past summer. And I was like, because that's on my list, right? And I was like, what? I knew you had a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Which we haven't ridden together.
No, we haven't yet. And the stars haven't aligned yet.
Not yet.
But definitely next year.
Yeah, for sure.
And, my good friend, Bob Harrison, that's an amazing guy. I've known him for a long time. And when I was thinking about getting a Harley, I called him and he helped me out, what to get, what to look for.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And I really thrive on, if I don't know, I go and ask. I don't act like I know. If I don't know, I call up Bob. If I'm not sure about this or that, I call my brother. If I don't know about government stuff, my sister's right over here.
It's okay to ask for help, isn't it?
It's absolutely. I'm trying to teach that to my son.
Well, it's a hard lesson.
It's a hard lesson.
Sooner, I know.
Yeah.
Sooner we can learn that.
Very hard lesson to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting because I've always said, like, when I teach my students at the college, I say, ask for help. And if you don't want to put your hand up in class, I get it.
Yeah.
Send me an email, ask for help. I said, I still ask for help for everything every day.
Yeah.
Jennifer does things for me without me asking for help because she knows I'll screw it up. But, like, to be able to, it's an embarrassment thing, but it's always interesting. Like, we love to give help.
Big time.
Like if I said, hey, Andy, would you help me? You're like, oh, yeah. But we don't like to ask for the help.
Well, I think you learn by your mistakes.
Yeah.
So
like,
you make your mistakes. Thank God I made a lot of mistakes at the start. And then a buddy of mine that I've known forever, Rod Gowrie. I don't know if you know Roddy.
I know Rod, yeah.
Roddy, and best friends forever. I mean, the guys helped me financially wise, helped me with mortgages and anything else. My God, my furnace broke down. He's down here helping. He knows a guy that does furnace. He's out down here helping tear out the furnace.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, I see. I need those people. I can't. I barely change a light bulb.
Well, that's why those. I mean, that blow. I'm always used to going and helping people.
Yeah.
So when somebody helps me, it's, oh my God, he's helping me.
Yeah, right.
So, and then he's even going away with us this year. So him and
nice.
Cindy, his wife, they're going away with us. There's like 12 of us going away.
Oh, cool.
So for the first time.
That's trouble.
Oh, I think the airport. Normally, I'm terrified of the airport and terrified of the plane. Now I'm excited because Jeff Dunn. We're going to go back to Dominican.
Oh yeah.
So Sean and Gina with me and Karen, and then Cindy and Rod are going, and Jeff and Gail. Yeah. Jeff Dunn. That's in the Christmas show, and then BA and another lady I don't know, but it should make going to Toronto just a blast.
Right.
I think me and Karen are just so excited.
Going to take it over.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
And I have a feeling with Sean Robbins involved, there'll be some shenanigans.
Oh, well, he likes to have fun.
Yeah.
And that's what and it's funny, I'm the same way. That's why when we go together, Christ, we're just a hoot. We're a laughing every day. It's great. You know?
It is great to be able to laugh, isn't it?
That's lucky. I think lucky. I've got great friends, great family. Yeah. I'm just, knock on wood.
Yeah.
You know, I'm playing music. I don't know what you'd do if you didn't. You know, I say this to Stewie all the time, like, what would I do if I didn't have music?
Yeah.
Like,
can't imagine your world without it, right?
You know what? And music's a huge part of your world.
Yeah. I don't even play. But I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't even get out as much as I would like to, as I used to. I've looked back and gone, I used to do a little more of this and that. But, you know, life shifts and pivots, and it's pivoting right now, but it's over the next year we'll be able to do more of that, and that's part of the plan, right? You know,
right?
And but you know, the traveling and the music and Sarnia, you know, obviously you've been here for a long time. Did you ever think of leaving, or were you just like,
never?
No, this is it.
Never. My cousin called me. My cousin Robbie. I think it was the second year we were here. Dad bought a boat. Mm-hmm. So, in summertime, it stays light till 9:30.
Yeah.
So Dad calls from the plant. Andy, get a few of your friends, Gary and some other, and we'll go water skiing. Get the boat all ready. When I get home, we're going to haul it down. We'll go for a couple hours. My cousin Robbie calls. I get home from school. My mom's talking to my aunt, then puts Robbie on. I get on. Hey, how's it going? I said, oh, we're going water skiing. You're going water skiing? Yeah, Dad's coming home. We're putting the boat on, and off we go water skiing for a couple hours. Well, Montreal, there's, you know, in the St. Lawrence, there's
a couple hours to get there.
Well, it's polluted.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, so there's no water skiing. We used to go to Vermont in this place called Lakers. Dad used to take us camping all the time. I have huge memories.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, isn't it?
Oh, it is gorgeous. We loved going. Yeah. Every year we'd go for 3-4 weeks. Dad would take us.
Yeah,
and. Yeah, it's just
Sarnia's a beautiful place, though. Like we got.
Are you kidding? Sarnia is. I never want to leave. Sarnia is such a beautiful place. I don't care if I make less money, or whatever. This is my home.
And what and this comes up every time. What a great community that comes together in time of need. I always chuckle, say even the ones that don't like each other know how to come together and make something happen. And you know, politics aside, all that stuff, and it just happens, right? So do you volunteer into anything behind the scenes or help out? Or
no, not now. I used to way back. I did the Art Christmas.
The Art Christmas aggregation.
Yeah. So I did that for quite a few years.
He was the music teacher at St. Clair when I was there.
He was my music teacher
was there
for 4 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So what a great guy he was.
He was a super nice guy.
What did you learn from him?
Well, that's where I think I started sax for some reason. There was too many drummers, and I was drumming already. And then he saw I wasn't very interested in that, and he was a really nice guy. Yeah. I really liked Art. Yeah. He was an awesome guy.
He was super talented.
And I went to the drums, and he was super talented.
I know.
Yeah, he
was scarily, very so talented, and the whole family. Yeah, I think what was it, Jeff and
God, I couldn't remember.
Jeff Christmas, Jeff and Laura, Jeff.
That's
and,
a long
anyway, the
time.
Christmas gang. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
It was.
But now, thank God, for what I got now with the Christmas show, I hope it goes for quite a few years because I just want to do that. I don't want to play no more
You're not
bars.
retired yet, are you?
No.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm at Bayview Chrysler.
Yeah, okay.
And
you've been there for a while.
I've been there for 18 years now, and
they must still like you.
They're amazing. I mean, Dave Orr and Steve Orr, they're amazing guys. I mean, they have a family atmosphere.
Is that right?
To the whole place. Yeah, I've never worked anywhere quite like that.
Mm-hmm.
I worked at other places and been abused here and screamed at and yelled at, and you go here, and it's I call it the bizarro world. And another good friend of mine, Brian Drury, that I knew from high school. That I thought wanted my girlfriend, and I threatened to beat him up. And he was a nice enough guy not to beat me up. So I called him out one day, and he keeps even mentioning this. So I called him out one day, and he was a nice enough guy not to come over and beat the hell out of me. So ever since then, and then we met each other at Toyota years later, and we've been best friends ever since.
Yeah.
And every now and then he'll bring up the story. Remember when you yelled at me? And no, I don't remember
Brian
that.
Or Brad?
Brian Drury.
Brian.
Yeah, Brad's his brother.
Okay, yeah, he's Brad's who I'm thinking of. He's real estate guy.
He's real estate, yeah.
He went to Northern. Did Brian go to Northern too? Or?
I don't think so.
No. Brian's the older brother.
Yeah, Brian's the older brother, and then he was a bodyman, Brian.
Right.
So, and we're still good friends, and we still hang out with his wife, and we go to shows, and we're just So it's amazing how many friends I still have.
And he was trying to steal your girlfriend, like that's.
I thought he was.
That's now your wife? Is that
That's now my wife, yes.
So
and then one day I drove up and started yelling at him across the school, and, thank God he was a good enough guy not to come over and beat the hell out of me. So, so we've been best friends.
You were defending your love and honor.
I was defending my love. She was a gorgeous girl, and I'm not the greatest looking guy, and she, I thank the Lord that she picked me. And
probably in her eyes.
Well, I'm very, very, very lucky the way everything worked out.
Do you write, guitar players, piano players, they write music?
No,
Did you
that's
ever
the
do
only
any
thing.
of that?
I can read music extremely slowly. I can't, I'm not good enough to sit down. Everything for me is put on the headphones, play it once, play it twice, and the third time, I've got this and this and this part and that part. Then once I play it and repetitive, and then I've got it.
But even just writing the drum part, you must do that.
Well, I write it in my scribbly little form.
Yeah.
When I did the first show, I did a 7-part drum solo, so I wrote it on the floor, which rudiments I was going to do, and Tom work.
I remember that, actually.
Do you remember that? And I was so nervous, and I have the electronic drums, and then I had the electronic segment of it, and then that's the first time I did the light stick thing, which
that's right.
Which
that was huge.
That was
I was right there.
I worked on
wow.
I worked on all this hard Tom work and fills and double bass thing, and then at the end of the show, I flipped my, light up sticks in the dark, and people just went nuts for it.
And it was interesting. It was very interesting for me to see that because, I wasn't at rehearsals.
Oh, right, yeah.
I was the MC. There's here's your script, and okay, Burrows, we know you can do your thing. Just wing it, kind of whatever.
Yeah, you're a professional.
And it was, so when I saw it, I basically saw it for the first time ever.
Yeah.
I saw it live, and I just went. Because I didn't, if I remember, I didn't even know what you were doing.
Well,
I didn't see it coming,
I never showed because I just practiced it down here on the odd nights that we practiced.
And then the year I was in the audience, I remember seeing that's when you had the glow sticks and the other drummers in there.
Yeah, that was.
And I was just like, wow. And I remember talking to you after, and you're like, I was so worried. I didn't know we were going to pull this off. If we could.
Well, that was 3 months.
Right.
3 months of practicing twice with the drummers. And 3 months of practicing with the Christmas show. Right. So Wednesday and Sunday was Christmas band. Tuesday and Friday was drummers. So we had.
You worked when?
Yeah, exactly. It was all for the Christmas show.
Well, and Baby was good enough to help.
God, they bought tickets for years. They were buying tickets and coming out and supporting it and supporting me. Yeah. Like I said, I can't. And your family, it's the same thing now. Dave and Steve are retiring, so now the boys are taking over. And there's Tom and Dave Jr. and then Matt Rothwell is a family member, and he's taken. And these 3 guys are just keeping the same concept.
They're the next generation.
And they're just awesome to work for. They're it's like a family.
Yeah.
I actually can say I like going to work. I know it's hard
That's
to say,
cool, because
but I like
most
going
people
to work.
don't.
No, I know. Back in the past, I never liked it, but
Yeah.
I can honestly say I like going to work. I like the people there. Brian Drury, I got him working there, and he said the same thing. Just really enjoys working there.
I remember DJing their Christmas parties.
Oh yeah,
like 25 years ago.
Yeah,
Boy, we're going back now, and they were so much fun. And they even and here they are, they're paying the DJ a whole bunch of money. To do the thing, and they were still like, oh, make sure you come early and sit down and have dinner and bring.
That's what they're
like. And they would come up and can I get you a drink, or can I they were, and even I have one lady's name. She's definitely not there now, but she was a tiny little lady.
Oh, it might be Helen.
It was Helen.
Helen, yeah, she's been there a long time. She's our accountant. She's retired now.
She's still there?
No, she's retired now.
Say. So she was the one that hired me, paid me, and she would be there. And she always made sure the music's doing wonderful, David.
Yeah, she's super sweet.
She was very proper,
That's what I mean, and they're super sweet, super nice.
Yeah,
I can't say enough. It really is. I thank the lucky stars. Jonathan Taylor hired me.
Right.
I thank him. Thank you for hiring me, my Lord, because it definitely changed my life, made my home life even better. It wasn't less stress.
How are we? Let's shift gears a little bit. I'd like to touch on this. I don't go too deep, but. How's our city doing? Do you follow local politics at all?
I don't as much. I know I should, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it.
Do you get a feeling though, the vibe? Are we doing okay? Do you think?
I don't know. I hear all kinds of people talking,
and you just go,
they say, "Hey, it's time
happy
for a change," but who are you going to put in?
Yeah, well, I agree.
That's the key. So I mean, if the guy that's there now is doing the job, and he knows all these things, and he knows how to run. Maybe he's not.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. Maybe these people don't like him, and these people do. But who are you going to put in?
We should put Sean in there.
Well, that's what I said. Put Sean in there, and then it'll be a candidate every weekend and bands, and that would be interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting because hey, you say, well, I know I should, but sometimes it's kind of like. It's not affecting me in a negative way.
That's right.
Sarnia's a great city. I mean, it's not perfect. How was, I always have to ask this one too, how was the pandemic for you? Did you...
Well, we went to
came out of it okay.
Yeah, we went, for Bayview, we went down to a skeleton crew, and I stayed, and we made it through there, and my wife's a hairdresser, so she was off for a little bit, and then, and it was okay. Well, I mean, we had grandkids, and we had birthdays and Christmases that we, and we just made it through. And we had friends, and we still made it through,
Did you learn a lot about some people?
Yeah.
Through that and go because I know I was friends with some people for years, and I still am, but it was wow, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, there was some interesting stuff. I won't get into it.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't want to get anybody mad at me. So, but it was interesting to see the different sides of everybody.
Yeah.
Then see that side, and you go, yeah, I can agree with that. Then there's that side. Yeah, okay, I can kind of agree with that, but yeah, I just leave that alone.
Yeah. You've lived in this house then for how many years?
Long time. My son is 30, so I think he was 2 when we moved in, so 28.
Yeah.
I've been here 28 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
never thought of moving to another location.
Well, there's where my friend Rod comes up and says,
yeah.
Do you want the bigger house? I'm making a little better money, and do you like that trip every year? Do you like to go out for dinner? And sometimes you got to weigh your lifestyle. Do you want to just live in a house and not have enough money to do things, or do you want to do things and maybe buy a new drum set and do stuff? Yeah. So we decided to stay, and then we really fixed up the house and put a deck on the back, put a door in. Didn't even have a back door. So so we put a back door in, and we've been fixing it up. And now the kids are gone, we realize that the house is actually quite big. Yeah. And if it's just me and her,
it's a good size.
Oh my, it's a.
I mean, you're filling it up pretty good.
Oh yeah, we definitely are filling it up.
I gotta keep an eye on this so we don't. Look at that. Can you believe that we've been talking almost an hour?
Have we?
That's crazy, right?
I thought we just touched the surface.
I know, right?
But that's
so
that's neat.
That's you've done so much. And one thing I've noticed about you over the years, though, you're an observer. Like you work a room a certain way. You just kind of walk around and you watch. And you're a listener too, right?
Oh yeah, and I sit behind those drums, and it's funny. I'm watching constantly. I've seen, I'll hint. John North was our guitar player for the longest time. Amazing guitar player. Yeah. One of my good friends. Still not playing with him. Still keeping contact. Yeah. John, look over to the right. Look, something's going to happen. Yeah. And sure enough, in the bar, in the bars.
I know. Yeah.
Things can happen in the drop of a. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So it's.
What's Karen doing all this time? Like you're playing the drums and you're rehearsing and you're this and.
Well, it's funny. I'm not the biggest partier.
Yeah.
So. For her, it's been great because she gets to go out and watch me play and dance. She loves dancing, and she's so friendly. She makes friends. So she had friends in London. She had friends in Windsor. Because whenever our third wave would go out, we played for so long. We had quite a good following. For the longest time in London, we were the band.
I know. I remember.
At the one bar.
I remember I used to have to go down there to see you.
Oh, my Lord. And it'd be packed right out the door and around the club.
Yeah.
So, and then Karen would meet other girls that liked it. And she's so friendly. And then she's dancing all night long.
She's always the first one to say hello whenever I see her.
She is just a doll. She is just, I'm truly, knock on wood, lucky to have her. Yeah. My God.
Well, so Christmas show coming up, and I know we'll hear more about that in the months to come, but what's next for Andy? Like after the Christmas show, like do you got some more?
I don't know, not much. Just just friends.
More traveling,
which would be nice. Jeff and Gail, they do the cruises a lot, so they're going to do their second trip with us. So Sean was mentioning that we should try a cruise.
We just did a cruise, Jennifer.
Yeah, I know, and we watched you.
Just go do it.
And you know what? I'm so afraid to do things sometimes.
Yeah.
And I've kind of just pushed myself to do things.
You've learned to get out of the box.
I've learned to get out of the box. I got on the damn plane.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You didn't like planes.
No, I'm claustrophobic and I'm afraid of heights. So when that door shuts, it feels like...
I'm afraid of heights too, but planes don't bother me.
Yeah. My wife gets the...
helicopter.
Oh, no, I wouldn't try that. No. But she gets a little iPad out.
Oh, yeah.
And then we sit and she gets my headphones out. The plane's still loading, and I've got my headphones on, and I'm watching a movie. People are still loading, and I'm just to get my mind off of it, Yeah. It just, but you got to push yourself. You got to, sometimes you got to. And then that first year when Sean said, let's go, and you know what? Damn it, let's go. Let's do it.
Good for you.
Here's a guy with a crooked jaw. And look at all the stuff I've done, and I pushed myself to go out and stand in front of a crowd and push myself. You know what? I don't care. I don't care what the guys in the back say or this guy.
Doesn't matter.
I don't care anymore.
I always say they're not paying my mortgage.
Yeah,
so you say
and 99% of the people aren't saying that, and they're just being entertained.
Right. We overthink it, don't we? We go like, oh, they probably could be saying that.
And if you do that, then you never do it.
We're not that popular.
Yeah.
We're not that popular.
Yeah.
And that's one of those lessons too. I think I wish I had learned sooner in life, and I think most would agree that the sooner you can learn to just not give a, like, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what they're saying anyway. It doesn't change who you are. Be you, and whether we look a little different or act a little different or whatever
that's the key.
Boy, oh boy, that's why I pick on myself all the time, and nobody else can. But a dog doesn't chase a parked car, right? So it's like, you just gotta keep moving.
Yes, right? I agree.
And surround yourself with the right people.
And you surround yourself with, I thank God, knock again. Yeah. My friends are amazing, the friends that I have, and then my brother and sister are still amazing people, and my mom. You know what I mean? I feel like it's funny, I feel like I can go do that stuff because I got them there.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know why, but it's just like there's a comfort zone. Wherever I am, I got my brother. Yeah. I got my sister. You know what I mean? It's just, there's something about having, some people I know that don't, and I do feel bad for them. You hear them talk and they don't have anybody, so, it makes me feel a little warm that I do.
Well, I'm grateful to know you, buddy, and
thank you. I'm grateful to know you.
I know, and now, I got the invitation to pop by when I want for the band practice at the undisclosed location secretly, but I will take you up on that. Careful what you wish for.
No, come on, pop down and sit down.
I'd enjoy it. And
Have a Snapple. I've always got.
These are great.
I know they're amazing.
And I'm like, I've never had those, so I have to go place my order with Jennifer, and she'll get those for me. Thank you so much.
No,
for
thank
your
you
time.
Thank you.
And one of my favorite things to do now is after this interview, then we sit here and we talk some more about some stuff.
Yeah.
But thanks to all of you for these are really comfy couches.
They're very comfy.
Thanks to all of you for watching, as you always do. I will say click the like and the love, but click the share button. It's the most important button, so we can share my friend Andy's story and everybody else here on the show. But right now, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye for now.